and they're a nice dude, right? Or, your mom plays bunco with them, and, they're a good bunco player. Because it has nothing to do with real estate. And there's a lot of things that you have to work through. And so personally, I think you want to find somebody that's very familiar with that process, okay? Does anybody have any questions about that? Anything? Yeah.
A quick question, as far, I know it's important about, the realtor representing you. I heard that there may have been some changes regarding classifying as like a buyer's agent in Oklahoma. Is that true, or can you still get, I want you to represent me as a buyer's agent in Oklahoma?
Great question. So we're going to get into real estate law. First of all, the law makes no sense, okay? I'll just tell you that right now. It's all jacked up in my opinion. Many years ago, we used to have what was called buyer's agency or agency relationships, okay? So what that meant is your fiduciary duty was to a particular client. So if I signed you into what's called a buyer's agency agreement, that meant my fiduciary duty was to you as a buyer to help you find a property, to give you all the information about that particular property, what we could buy it for, etc. Well, here's what's happened. This is very interesting, actually. Let's just say, and there were actually court cases this happened. There was a house that was $100,000. And you absolutely love that house. In fact, it was your dream house. Your wife was like, we're going to live here forever. This is the house. Okay? You told the buyer's agent, hey, we would pay $100,000 for this house, but we're going to offer $92,000. Well, the buyer's agent didn't explain to you, because realtors are afraid of this word called rejection or hurting someone's feelings. I'm that way, can you tell? I'm real concerned, don't hurt anybody's feelings. Well, what happened actually, though, is let's say you made the $92,000 offer, but the realtor didn't have enough integrity to tell you you can offer $92,000, but if this is your dream house, for instance, and someone comes and offers $98,000 or $100,000, you just lost your dream house. That happened a couple of times. People sued the realtor, right? Because they didn't explain that to them. So long story short, they blew up agency relationships. They said, we're getting rid of this. So in Oklahoma, we have what are called single-party brokerage relationships. And all that is a fancy term that if I list a house, okay, I sign what's called a listing agreement, so I'm operating for that seller as what's called a single-party broker. What that means is I have what's called vicarious liability, or the seller, I should say, for my actions. And all that is a fancy-dancy term that means if I got sued selling the house, and I'm telling you, people get sued all the time in real estate. I would never, ever sell a house on my own. Ever. I mean, you want to talk about just opening yourself up for every possibility because you think you're going to save money and you don't anyway. Okay? Single party brokerage, so I'm working inside vicarious liability. Now, as a buyer, then, I can sign you what's called a single party brokerage buyer's agreement. And that again means your fiduciary duty, my fiduciary duty is to you. However, if I got sued representing you as a buyer, guess what? You would get sued. Okay? Now, if I sold you a property that I have listed, and I'll be honest with you, that's what I love to do. And you go, well, why is it you make more money? Well, yeah, I make more money, but watch. I'm easier to negotiate with. Okay? I am. And I think that the key to the whole thing is finding somebody you trust. You ever meet those people and you just absolutely know, I mean, just in a couple of seconds, that guy I cannot trust, right? You've got to have someone with some integrity, has some experience, has a great reputation. It's funny, I have a builder that we picked up, and they were calling these realtors to find out about me. And he said the only negative thing that a realtor could say about me was that I already had too much business and I didn't need anymore. I kind of like that, So when you sign that buyer brokerage agreement as a single party broker, then you're working for that individual to answer your question, okay? To show them comps, to show them what a property is assessed for, what needs to be offered, etc. Now, personally, the way I've always handled that, I treat everybody the same way, okay? There's this thing called the golden rule, right? Treat people the way you'd want to be treated. So, I'm very proud of the fact, in 20 years of selling real estate, I used to tell people I never had gotten sued. I just settled one little lawsuit with a Dave Ramsey client. And the reason why is because remember these roof issues we have when these stupid tornadoes and stuff come through? We have those in Oklahoma. My client decides, and I mean, Dave Ramsey would have just had a conniption about this. Scott will appreciate this. To keep part of their insurance check as a seller, it's like $1,000 instead of give the buyer the entire insurance check, what they're supposed to do. And you know, that's, I mean, it was such a deal, the minor deal. The insurance company didn't even really count that as a lawsuit, okay? But to answer your question, we have single-party brokerage relationships. If you bought a property I'd listed, you enter what's called transactional brokerage, which by law means nobody's responsible for anything. But I always joke with people and say, here's the deal. If I'm getting sued representing you selling or buying a house, I don't care what the relationship is, you're getting sued. It just doesn't make sense. But that's what we have in Oklahoma, what are called single-party brokerage relationships, which just is a big fancy-dancy term for all the legal stuff that goes on. It's a great question, though. Anybody else have any other questions about anything about the market? So does anybody think the market's going to get better or worse in Oklahoma? Anybody have an idea about that? Anybody care?
Can you speak about the importance of realtor with new construction, you know, versus...
Golly, you are... Here's what happens with new construction. And again, this is just the kind of the backroom dynamics that people are not always aware of. You know, you go into a house, it's brand new, and it's got that smell of a new house, and it's got all the new appliances, and it looks great. So the builder is your best friend. You know what I mean? What can we do to make this happen? We'll throw this and whatever. Now, think about this. Is the builder working for you? I mean, really? They're working for this thing called profit. And most builders, Candace knows, don't stay in business a long time anyway. Okay? But here's what the builder tells you. Hey, if you just work directly with me, that thing called commission that no one wants to pay, I'll basically take that commission out of what you're paying for the property. Does anybody think that's really true?
I can tell you it's not. It is not true.
It's not.
It's not.
But here's the idea behind this, okay? Say I'm going to a brand new neighborhood and the price per foot for those houses is right at $100 a foot, okay? Everything in real estate basically is public record. When you buy a property, it's registered at the county. It tells you how much you paid on the property. I can find out usually how much your mortgage is. I mean, it's just all public record, okay? All these people, when I call them, my company's Dare Web Investments, and they go, are you a private investigator? You know, no. But you find that information out. So my point is this. Let's say Shakrista, right? Did I do that right? Hey, impressive. Let's say Shakrista goes and buys a house and spends $100 a foot on the property, okay? And then Patrick is going to buy a house in the same neighborhood, brand new, okay? Well, Shakrista pays $100 a square foot for that property. But Patrick's thinking, Shakrista got 100, I want 99, okay? So that's what Patrick wants to offer. He's going to offer 99. Well, you have to understand, the builder wants to keep that price per foot at a certain price, period. Because if they start selling it at $99 to Patrick, then Linda's going to come along and she's going to want to do it for $98 a foot. Okay? So my point, first of all, is it's just, excuse me, a bunch of crap for a builder to tell you, hey, you'll save money not working with that realtor. Because they have established a price per foot and they want to keep that price per foot. Okay? So here's my opinion what a great realtor can do for you. When we represent a buyer buying a new home, the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to have the home inspected, right? With an independent inspector, just like an existing property. And that's another, you know, spend $300 or $400 for someone to go look at the property. Because here's another little, you know, test for you. Do you think the builder's present all the time when the house is being built? Do you think they're out there every day going, oh yeah, boy, that stem wall looks good. Oh yeah, those guys are roofing that properly? No, they're not, right? So have the house looked at before you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? And for $300 or $400 just to make sure that it's taken care of. The other thing that we do a lot, general rule of sales, ask for a lot, get a lot. Ask for a little, get a little. So for instance, you ever been to these neighborhoods and you look around and they never gutter a house? rain in Oklahoma? Do we sometimes have some weather? I don't have gutter around this darn place, which I've got to get done. Well, guttering is critical, A, because you just don't like water dropping on you, and B, for erosion and for drainage. Okay? Builders won't put gutters on houses all the time. Why? Saves money. But watch, if you ask for it, it's like $400 or $500, they're going to give it to you. Now, if you're not working with a realtor or a smart realtor, that builder's just going to go, Elizabeth, she's such a nice lady, God bless you. We'll just go ahead and we're going to gutter this for you. No, they're not going to do that. So what I'm saying is a realtor can help you by asking for a lot of those type of benefits or goodies, so to speak, that you're not aware of as a buyer. So if I'm buying a house that is brand new, I would definitely have a realtor help me because they can do those kind of things. And it just doesn't make sense not to, because that realtor, when they go to the bank to do their loan, they've already factored in paying a commission on it. It's already in there, it's in their business plan. The bank won't loan them money if they don't have that, because the bank knows they've got to use that. Okay? It's another great question. Anybody else have anything?
Why does Oklahoma seem to have been in a bubble when all that went down?
What went down? I'm sorry.
When all of the housing market crashed, it seemed like Oklahoma was in a bubble.
That's a great question. I think here's the thought process. Usually, first of all, what happens on the East Coast and West Coast does eventually trickle to the central part of the country. So to give you an idea, I used to tell people in 2000, I think it was 9, as they get older, it's hard to keep all these numbers. There were like 10,600 sales, let's say, in Oklahoma County, roughly. That number went from like 10,600 to just a little below 7,000 over about 3 or 4 years. So there was a change in the market. However, here's, I know Dave Ramsey talks a lot about this. Something that can appreciate so quickly overnight, guess what the opposite is? It can depreciate, okay? So when I'm in California or Florida and some of these house prices are going up like $100,000 in a month. I mean, they did, right? Boom. But guess what the opposite is? Like this. Generally, to answer your question, in Oklahoma, we've had an appreciation rate of houses of about 3 to 5%. So part of that bubble is because homes didn't go up so rapidly, when things adjusted, they didn't go down so rapidly. Okay? And so I would just say right now we're kind of in a flat market. I mean, I am not going to tell you, and again, the realtors that do, hey, Linda, we go buy this house 6 months from now, we can flip it. Really? That doesn't make sense, okay? I mean, it usually doesn't. There are some exceptions to the rule, but basically, our market didn't go up to appreciate as fast as a lot of these markets, and because of that, it didn't depreciate. And then, frankly, we have this thing called oil and gas, right? And that's always kept our market fairly strong as opposed to some of the other, economies. And then the last part, that Candace mentioned this, there are a lot of goofy things going on around the country loan-wise, Hey, you don't have a job, and you make, no money, but you can go buy a $500,000 house, Really? I mean, let's think about that. And so a lot of people took advantages of that, and we didn't have as many of those kind of goofy type loans coming on in Oklahoma. And so those factors kind of protected us. Great questions. Anybody else? Because my nose is just like running. Yeah. Well, God bless you guys. If you have any questions, I am not going to be the person that's going to hound you and call you and, what can we do? Getting a little too old for that, it seems like. But the bottom line is, if we can help you, we would love that opportunity, okay? And I know that we would take great care of you. And I have been very impressed with Churchill Mortgage. I have a mortgage lender that I've used here locally, and Candace knows that. But, I've really enjoyed working with Dave Ramsey. I've been at his house, and it's a quality organization, and it's just, it's very professional. And like I said, when you're going to spend several $100,000 buying a property, don't go get someone you met at a bunco club, or you met at the club that night, or at the 7-Eleven, or someone at church. Get somebody that you really feel comfortable and confident, has a good track record, process they would use to help you. Do they understand brokerage relationships, or do they look at you like, what are you talking about? Right? All right? Hey, God bless you guys. Thank you so much for being here today, okay?
Just a little more to drill the realtor with questions on how they can help you? Yeah? I do. That's good stuff, powerful stuff. I hear this a lot in the workshops. People will say, well, I don't really need a realtor. I can just read about it and I can go do it myself. And I'm thinking, well, Darren said it all, when you go to court, or if you've been to court, chances are you're going to want someone licensed, someone with a law degree that's pretty seasoned at what they're doing. I'm not going to go to court without a pretty strong attorney standing next to me if ever that were to happen. And I feel the same way Darren does. Even though I understand real estate, I don't have a real estate license. I understand real estate. I am never going to go buy a home without a realtor. So it's very critical. As a home buyer too, Darren, I don't know if you touched on this, but as a home buyer, you're not paying for the realtor services. Were you aware of that? Do you know that? You sell your home, but not when you buy a home. So I don't know if there was any factoids, Courtney, I don't know, you might even have on, have you ever been asked why should people use a realtor?
No,
Or why
I
should
haven't
actually? Have you heard that question, Aaron, before?
What's that?
Why do I need you if I can just read a book and I can do it myself?
Yeah, I mean, people ask that all the time. There's always a mentality behind that. I think we've addressed that. It's the largest financial transaction you're going to make, and then you want, I mean, you can always make a joke. I could cut my hair myself too, but guess what? I mean, it sticks up enough. I'm not going to go cut my hair myself. I'm not going to go do my accounting myself. Well, I'd be in a lot of trouble. So, usually there's a intrinsic relationship between a service that's been offered and someone using it. And like I said, in our economy, if they could have gotten rid of realtors a long time ago, they would have. So there's no doubt that, I mean, that's my perspective as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
You need someone representing and helping you.
We're needed and necessary. Joey?
I'll tell you, I actually made the mistake one time of purchasing a house.
You did?
It was a huge mistake. And what I tell my clients when they're considering, hey, I'm going to go buy on my own, is the thing you got to consider is how unique transactions are. And Darren will probably back me up on this. Every one of your transactions has its own unique, interesting thing, whether it's gutters, like he said, or whether it's something to do with the title, or whatever the case may be. You can read a book all you want, but it's not going to give you what you need when going into that transaction. If you have somebody that is well experienced, they've already been through that. They've seen all sorts of things happen, and the idea by using one of these guys is they start to see that and navigate you through that process. And like she said, it's free of charge. Why wouldn't you? Hire somebody that has been through the process over and over and over again that will help you avoid all of the stupid problems that you, like me, don't realize that you had until it's over and said and done.
Real estate can be wrapped up into a country western song, which I always tell people.
Are you going to
By
sing?
Billy Currington. I'm not singing.
Okay.
And I'm not a big beer drinker, but it says, God is great, beer is good, and people are crazy. Okay? Just remember that. That is Real Estate 101.
I think we're gonna have you sing that.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do that, but it would be, that's a synopsis of
We'll put
real
that little
estate on
quote
a daily
on the
basis.
video.
Say that again,
We'll
Joey.
put that little quote on our.
Yeah, I do like that very much.
God is great, beer is good, and people are absolutely crazy.
And that is true. Our next segment, Darren, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're a tough cookie to follow here, so I'm gonna see what I can do. Our next segment is talking about service providers. Darren's a service provider. We're a service provider. We have service providers. Scott is a service provider. We're all service providers, and what a lot of people fail to take into consideration is, and I know I mentioned this early on, is that there are many people involved to help you get into your home and to get into your home right. Some folks think that you're just working with the lender and the bank and no one else really matters, or you're just working with the realtor and no one else really matters. But the fact of the matter is there's a lot of people that do come together to work for you, and you have the opportunity to choose some of these service providers. You also have the opportunity to not choose some of these service providers. Some are chosen and selected for you by law. And I'd like to be able to, Darren, if I misspeak, Joey, if I misspeak regarding Oklahoma, what you have the option to do and what you have the option not to do, let me know, because each state's a little different too. One of the, we're gonna have, actually Scott come up and talk with us a little bit about insurance. Before we do that, I would like to be able to just share with you just a little bit about thinking through these. The different service providers, and by no means are these all of the service providers. There may be a few that I may have missed, Aaron, that you might, if you see me, I'd love to know. But you have an inspector, and I think you touched on making sure that every home is inspected. By law, or by a lender's perspective, you do not need a home inspection. And that may seem a little crazy to you, and you might think, well, if I don't need one, let me just go get a cheap one. A lot of times people make that mistake, they're just going to go get a cheap one because it's not required. But as an inspector, and I'm sure you have an inspector that you do enjoy working with. Oh God, Melissa Kuhn. Melissa Kuhn with my Inspection Connection.
Inspection Connection.
And